Hey, welcome back. And today we're going to be going over the results of the fitness assessments that we've conducted over the past couple of weeks. So I have a result sheet, I have a copy for you and a copy for me. And so really all we're doing today is we're just going to go through and talk about what categories you fell in based off of your performance on these assessments. And we're going to talk about what that means. And we're also going to get to some SMART goals that I've set for you that can help you improve in the areas that maybe you didn't have the average rating. Maybe you're slightly below. That way we can work to improve those different measures. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and get started. So starting with your resting measurements. So your resting heart rate was 67 beats per minute. So that's within the normal category because the normal range is going to be that 60 to 100 beats per minute. So that's really good. You were good in that range. You were on the lower end of that, which is awesome. And then your resting blood pressure was 132 over 84. So with that actually puts you in stage 1 hypertension. So all that means is that you have a high blood pressure, and that's okay. We can work and through the SMART goals improve some of the effects of this and reverse it and get better blood pressure. But we also have to be careful because if we don't manage it, you are at risk of developing stage 2 hypertension. But like I said, we'll get to all that at the end about your goals, and so it's nothing to worry about. All right, moving on to your waist to hip ratio. So your waist to hip ratio was 0.9, and so this puts you at high risk for adverse health consequences. So that's just like cardiovascular disease and metabolic disease. And so what we're looking at here is we can improve this by losing some inches from around your waist and your hips. So I think with a good exercise program and maybe adjusting your diet and some of the stuff that you're eating, that could really help you improve your waist to hip ratio as well. All right, moving on to your body composition. You want to follow along with me? I got you at 19% body fat. So this does put you in the over fat category for body fat percentage, but not by much at all. Okay, the regular or the average body percentage fat for males that are age 29 is 13 to 17%. So you just were outside of this category by 2%. So that's definitely maintainable, like I said, through that exercise prescription, through making changes to your diet. Just simple things like that can definitely help you in a lot of areas. So that's something that we're looking at. BMI got you at a body mass index of 27.6. So that is also in the overweight category, but not by much at all. And we'll get to this too. So I went through and broke down all the different categories and kind of just listed where you were at. So we'll get to that. And then, so for your cardiovascular assessment, so remember that was where we did that YMCA submax bike test. And based off your performance in that, we were able to estimate your VO2 max. And so we got you at a VO2 max of 24.4. And that isn't the best, but that's, like I said, all of this stuff can be improved. You're 29 years old. You're not super old. You're still pretty young. So we can definitely improve this stuff. And like you said in the beginning, you're not very active right now. And so that's okay. That's expected not to have as good of a VO2 max without having that physical activity. So basically why it is good for us to have a good VO2 max is that just kind of tells us how well your lungs and your heart are working together to supply oxygen to your body. So that is why that is important for us. And we're moving along to our flexibility assessments. So on the back scratch test, you did awesome. On the right side and the left side, you were able to get a +1 inch on both sides. So that is an above average rating, and you actually fell in the 85th percentile. So that's awesome. And then on the standard sit and reach test, you got a 15 centimeters. And so that could be improved, but a lot of times you're tall, you're 6'3". So a lot of times for tall guys, that standard sit and reach isn't always the best assessment, just because it's hard for you to reach all the way over with your long legs. But it still just gives us an idea of where you're at. So I definitely think too that flexibility in your legs more specifically your hamstrings, is going to be an area of focus for some of those SMART goals that we made too. All right, moving on to muscular endurance. On the 1 minute push-up assessment, you were able to complete 45 push-ups in a minute. So that's excellent. That is good. I mean, there's always room for improvement. You can always push yourself, but you were in that excellent category. So that was awesome. And then the partial curl up test, you had 50 repetitions in that. So you were in the good category, which is above average. Like I said, you can always get better because we weren't quite in that excellent category, but you were still above average. So that was awesome. So now we've gotten to the interpretation of your data and the goals, and I've kind of shared some of that with you. So we went over heart rate, normal range, blood pressure, stage 1 hypertension, and that is just because your systolic and diastolic, systolic is the top number, diastolic is the bottom number in the blood pressure, they're both over the normal range, which is, for a baseline, we go 120 over 80 for a normal blood pressure. And so, like I said, I think getting even just 30 minutes of exercise for at least 3 days of the week would help you tremendously. Okay, and then so with that BMI, like we talked about, so the normal range would be at 18.5 to a 24.9. And you were in that 27.6 for a BMI, which is considered overweight, but like I said, it's not too far off. So I think a more balanced diet and more physical activity, like I said, is going to help you. And then we went over all the body fat. So let's go ahead and move on to the SMART goals that I have set for you. So my first goal for you is to aim to lose 20 pounds over a 6-month time period through strength and endurance training. And I think that is definitely a realistic goal for you. Over 20 pounds over 6 months is definitely doable for you. And the way that we're going to measure this is we're going to have weekly weigh-ins and circumference measurements to keep track of your progress. Because sometimes, and this is actually really common, you'll start losing inches before you'll start actually losing weight, noticing that you're losing weight. And so that's an awesome way to keep track of even the little progress that you're making, because everything is something to keep you motivated. All right, and so the way that we're going to go about this is I have planned for you to do endurance exercise on 3 days of the week, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then strength training on Tuesday and Thursday, so 2 days of the week. And then Saturday and Sunday will be your rest days. And like I said, this is a very realistic goal for you. I have total faith that you can do this and be successful at it. And then to track this progress, it's super easy. There's plenty of apps on your phone now, or you can, if you're a type of person that likes to write it down in a journal by hand, that's also an option to track your duration and the intensity of your workouts, just so we can keep up with how active you're being, how much improvement we are making from where you first started. Okay, my second goal for you has to do with your diet. I would like for you to try to reduce your caloric intake by 300 calories per day, which is not much at all. That could be eliminating a small snack. I still want you eating 3 balanced meals per day, and so I don't want you to try to think to eat fast or skip out on meals. That's not what I'm saying. I still want you getting the proper nutrition. We're just going to try to eliminate some of that extra calorie that we don't need. And then this is definitely realistic for you again. Like I said, it's a small adjustment, but I think it's going to produce great results for you. And then we'll keep track kind of the same way. There's plenty of apps, which would probably be the easiest, but if you're a person that likes to do it in a journal, that's fine too. So now we're getting into actually the exercises that I've laid out for you to do. So on Monday, it's going to be your first day of endurance training. And so we have 20 jumping jacks, and that's just kind of to get warmed up. Then you're going to go for a mile jog or run, whatever is pushing yourself, okay? And then we are going to stretch at the end. So that could be a straddle, a pike, a butterfly stretch to cool down and stretch those muscles out. And that's also going to help with your flexibility. That way we can improve that standard sit and reach test, okay? For Tuesday, that's going to be your first day of strength training. And we are going to start with 3 sets of 30-second wall sits. Then we're gonna go into 3 sets of 10 push-ups, and we're gonna finish out with 20 squats. On Wednesday, that's your next day of endurance training, and we are going to cycle. You can either do a stationary bike if you have access to one, or you can outdoor bike for 30 minutes. And then we're gonna do 10 minutes of yoga stretches to cool down and relax. Like I said, that is another good way to improve your flexibility, and also it's just a good way to cool down at the end and let your body recover from the exercise that you just did. On Thursday, it's gonna be your second day of strength training. We're gonna do 20 sit-ups, 15 lunge jumps, a 30-second plank hold, and 20 tricep dips. And then Friday is your last day of endurance and the last day of exercise for the week. And we are gonna do 3 sets of a 1-minute jump rope going consecutively for 1 minute. And then the next thing we're gonna do is a 1-minute plank hold, and we're gonna do 2 sets of those. And then we're gonna do 10 burpees. So I set this day up to be kind of like a pyramid workout. You start with 3 sets of the jump rope, then you have 2 sets of the plank hold and 1 set of the burpees. So you go through 1 time, then the next time you would take off the burpees, then the next time you would take off the plank hold. And then, like I said, Saturday and Sunday are rest days just to give your body some time to recover. And I think that these plans would work really well for you, and they're gonna be good, easy adjustments that are it's not gonna require you to take a whole lot of time and planning to do. But I think if we can fix some little things, just lifestyle choices and habits, then I think that will help you improve in the categories that you weren't quite at the average rating. So do you have any questions for me?
I'm good.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in, and just let me know if you have any concerns or you need help with anything else.
Okay.
Thank you so much.